Thank you, my friend. To that end, we invited one of our EXP Elevate coaches, Levi Lascsak, who's doing YouTube Mastery as one of the Elevate coaching programs, to come onto the show today and just give you a taste of some of the things that he's going to be talking about in that program and really give you some practical, tactical stuff that you can take away today. So without further ado, my friend, we will come back to you in just a little bit.
You got it. Hey, Levi.
All right. Thank you. Levi, are you there?
I am, Bryon. How are you?
I'm doing great. My brother and friend to the north up in Dallas. How are you been?
I've been great.
Awesome. So Levi, we wanted to talk a little bit about YouTube and give you some great advice out there in YouTube land. But before we do, can you tell us about your journey? Because you're not too long in the business yourself, especially when you consider the amount of success you've had. Can you tell us about your journey for a little bit?
Sure. I mean, I released the first YouTube video in December 5th of 2020. So right at the very end, that's also whenever I got into real estate, really. So over the last 3.5 years now, it's been a roller coaster, but mostly on the uptick right now. But it's been really great. I mean, we've closed over 200 million in transactions, 400 homes just from the YouTube channel alone. And within the first year, closed 64 transactions. And I came from zero real estate agent background. I did this with zero marketing and really with zero social background as well, because when I started at that time, I was 41 years old. And if you're at that 40-year-old age range and above, you probably have this love-hate relationship with social media, and because we didn't grow up with it, right? There was none of that. Cell phones were barely coming out when I got out of high school. So, I never really had a strong social presence. I didn't come from a family of real estate agents, and I didn't come from a background of video either. But my previous business shut down during 2020, which, a lot of businesses shut down during 2020 when the world shut down. And so I left. I was left there asking myself, how do I start over without starting over? And starting over at 41 years old was really concerning to me. And so if I was going to move into real estate, which I was coerced by a good friend of mine. So a lot of people know Michael Reese. I've known Michael Reese for 20 years. We actually started he started me in sales, actually selling gym memberships at Valley Total Fitness. And we've been friends for the last 20 years, and he's been trying to get me into real estate for the last 20 years. But I just never really wanted to do that. But now when I had to make that shift, I was moving into it. And I just knew if I came into it, I didn't want to be a statistic. I didn't want to fail. I've had success in my previous companies and previous sales career. And so I didn't want to come in just, halfway. If I was going to get in, I was going to come in 100%, but also I wanted to do things differently. I didn't want to necessarily come in and market the traditional ways, or you could call it the old school ways, things like that. So I wanted to think differently.
What's interesting about that? So 64 deals in your first year. It seems like it's working out, and the years since then seem to have been going well for you. What's interesting about that is so many of us get in the business, and we're handed the proverbial phone book and told, "Good luck, kid." Right? Yeah. And for a lot of people, that's intimidating, and therefore they don't do it. They don't make the cold calls and things like that. But what you've done is really figured out a way to make the phone ring for you. Right. Yeah. And we'll talk more about that, but let's just jump into it and get rid of some of the negative mindset that comes along with this. Right. And the first is, that I have to have like a video team, like following me around. Right. Right. Can you talk a little bit about that versus having a cell phone?
Yeah, I mean, actually, we're going to cover this all through the Elevate coaching program and over that course. But I did everything with an iPhone right here. An iPhone 11 Pro, actually. So not even like a new iPhone.
Fancy.
An iPhone 11 Pro. And what happened was, whenever I upgraded to the 12, I just I didn't give away or give back my iPhone 11. I kept it as like a dead phone, and that just became my recording phone. And really, what do I have right here? And I have a $20 selfie stick off of Amazon that I've had ever since I've started, and a good microphone. And so really, I'm assuming everybody has an iPhone or maybe even an Android. And so $20 here, $25 to $50 for a good microphone. You can get in this business for around $50 in reality. And so people ask me all the time, what type of camera are you using? I mean, because the quality looks so good to them. And whenever I tell them an iPhone 11 Pro, they're like, wait, what? That's an iPhone? And yeah, I mean, the cameras in these phones are such good quality now. And I haven't even upgraded really using that phone, and I probably should. So the 14s and the 15s now, I believe, are out even better than the 11. So you have the equipment, and I think just a couple of extra dollars, around $50 to get you a little, a little tripod and a microphone, and you can be in business to start this up.
Yeah. Yeah. You see all these top agents who've earned a camera crew following them around.
Yeah.
It just, it begs to the memory that, hey, Michael Jordan wasn't wearing Air Jordans before he became Michael Jordan. Right.
Right.
So just keep that in mind. But, I think a lot of it circles around this idea of video quality. It has to be like highly produced. And what's the importance of production quality when we're creating videos?
Well, I think audio is probably the number one thing you should be looking at. So really, production quality is, I wouldn't be too concerned about it. What's funny is that I was at a video conference a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about authenticity is the new currency. And I think in this world where we have a lot of news, negativity, things, especially about the housing market in general, we're coming into an election, there's a lot of noise. And so people right now are looking for just authentic people to help share they're going to YouTube, right? They're going to social for their news, for their information. They want to learn from people like you and me. They want to feel like they're in the room with somebody that's equal to them. So they're not turning on these major news networks or, reading magazines about the real estate market. They're coming to us on YouTube. So production quality, you don't have to worry about that. I mean, editing could be interesting, but you can do things with very, very minimal editing. There's apps on the phones now as well that you can, edit on top of that. But overall, really just be yourself on there. I wouldn't worry about, some high production quality. On the phone is very simple. And again, the quality that comes through that camera, you're going to look like $1 million regardless. And most people won't know that you're using an iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. My 8-year-old just turned 8, actually. He wants to be a YouTuber one day, right? He doesn't have an account, but on his iPad, we gave him CapCut, and he comes back to us like with videos all the time that he's spliced together. It's an 8-year-old, folks. Now, so
they say that's the number one profession now. I think from if they ask ages 12 to 16 or something, YouTuber is the number one profession that they want to be.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Beast.
Yeah,
When it comes to being camera shy, look, I'm not the world's most handsome man. You might say a face meant for radio, but or I'm not articulate or what have you. What's your advice there?
Well, I think that I wasn't really camera shy. I think I think a lot of people are not. I think they're just not comfortable with speaking to an object is what it really comes down to, because there's a lot of days, but you have to look at sales in general. I mean, think about all the work you have to do on your own. Is it easier to do it with a spouse or a business partner? Possibly, but I think for me, I've always been in sales. I've loved sales, and I always love the interaction. And I think most real estate agents like that, belly to belly interaction, they call it, right? In person. And I think that was the biggest challenge for me, was sitting in a room sometimes just by myself and then talking to a camera. And that's really just awkwardness, and I think anything we do in the beginning is always going to be awkward because we haven't done it before. So think about when you were studying for your real estate license. I'm sure everybody would say it was probably a little overwhelming at the beginning. You got all your information. You had to go through all these modules. You had to practice test. You had to test, and then you had to go, to some little location and sit in a little cubicle, be timed. And that's a lot of pressure. And you know what? Sometimes agents don't pass their exam the first time. They have to go back a second time. But everyone who's licensed stuck through that process. It was, it seemed overwhelming in the beginning, but what happened when you got your license? You felt proud, you felt accomplished, and you're ready to go. Now you're in real estate, and then you had to write your first contract. And think about how overwhelming that was. You're like, holy cow, it's 18 pages, and I got to add 6 addendums on here, and I've got to make sure this is included and that's included, and you probably called somebody, and maybe they helped you through that process. And now most agents write contracts in their sleep, right? And it's second nature. So when you start out, yes, I think you just have a fear of the unknown. It's not really a fear of the camera. It's like, okay, this is weird and awkward. But like anything, we're going to get more proficient over time. We're going to get better. Will it take you longer in the beginning? Sure, of course. But, as you work through that and you work through the reps, I call it muscle memory, right? That's the same thing with the gym. You start a new gym program, a new diet. It's always a little awkward or very difficult in the beginning. You have to get into that routine and that habit. And so I just believe that video, it has to be a part of your business going forward. If you plan to be in real estate longer than a year, then you want it to be a part of, if you're going to retire in the next 6 months, well, okay, maybe you don't have to worry about it, but it should be a very important part of your business. And especially on YouTube, I believe that's the most powerful platform that you can market on, especially at no cost to you. And so you just have to work through that initial awkwardness is what it really comes down to. And then it starts to become part of you.
Yeah, agreed. I've done a lot of videos over my career, and trust me, if you're worried that, you're the only one doing 38 takes, baby, I'm doing 39. So don't worry about that. Just get into it. One last tip. So you talked about this Google hack. Can you share a little bit more about this Google hack for everybody?
Well, think about it. Google's the #1 search engine. YouTube's the second largest search engine, and Google owns YouTube. So again, we want to, I talk about interruption versus intention-based marketing a lot. And most people have never even heard that. Interruption marketing is just what we've typically been exposed to our entire lives, which is billboards, magazine ads, TV commercials, cold calling, door knocking. That is interrupting people in the middle of something they're doing to try to promote our product or service. So when it becomes, intentional, they start to research. And whenever people start to research, and people do become intentional when it comes to buy or sell a home, right? Something happens in their life that triggers them to say, hey, it's time to make a move. It's time to buy a home. It's time to upsize, downsize, right size, left size, whatever the case may be. And they start to research. And most people are starting that. Really, Google is starting to become, one of the first places people go to. But Google, is as #1. YouTube videos will start to pop up. And if you haven't noticed this, you will notice it now as you search things. You barely even have to scroll. And usually there are YouTube videos on the homepage, the main page of Google. So that's very simple, is that you're more likely to rank on the first page of Google through YouTube videos than you are. It used to be, 20 years ago, blogs. Writing blogs would get you ranked on the first page of Google. Now you got to deal with ads, sponsorships, and everybody else that has been blogging on their websites for the last 20 years. But YouTube videos can get popped up right up there, especially if there's not a lot going on in your market. But we're going to talk about optimizing your videos as well, which a lot of people don't know how to do. And so whenever we do that, we can get new channels, new videos to rank not only on YouTube, but on Google as well. And so you want to be the first one that shows up, or at least in the top 3 or 4, because usually people go with that selection. People don't typically scroll a lot. They'll search something on YouTube or Google, and they'll probably pick something within the first 1 to 5 selections. And so if we can get somewhere in those 1 to 5 selections, that's where we want to be.
That's awesome. Now you and I are going to do an Instagram live next Thursday at 4 p.m. Central, and we're going to kind of continue this conversation because there's a lot more that we want to share with you. And then your program is going to start June 4th. You can go to expelevatecoaching.com, and I think they're going to they're giving a discount. Yeah, there you go, a discount code. So Levi, real quick, 3 reasons why I'd want to take this program.
Well, because I'm gonna walk with you step by step through getting your channel started, or if you had a channel and you're not seeing the traction that you want to see, or not converting at the rate you want to convert, or you haven't received any phone calls or any leads from your channel, then this is going to be for you. Imagine spending 12 hours with me. Okay, so first of all, my hourly rate is extremely high, so you're getting me at a steal. But to hang out with me for 2 hours a week for 6 weeks to walk through this step by step, the main thing we're going to be covering is, I call it the C4 framework. C4 is also referencing dynamite, right? So,
Yeah.
but C4 framework, we're going to blow up your business. We focus on channel build out, channel or content creation, content curation, and then client conversion. So those are the four main steps that we're going to be walking through, and we're going to be taking it in bite-sized chunks over the 6 weeks. So I think that's something else that a lot of people like, that interaction. They want somebody to kind of sit beside them and show them, and that's what we're going to be doing over the course of that 6 weeks. 2 hours a week over 6 weeks, taking everything step by step. And that also gives you a little time to digest the information. We'll have a little homework, so you will be taking action. This is going to be hands-on, and again, you get to hang out 12 hours with me. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? Talking YouTube.
Sign me up. No, I get the pleasure of going through programs as part of Elevate, and I've gone through yours. And I mean, just everything from what to name my channel, scripts for the video, like literally you've laid it all out for them. I mean, just step by step by step. And it seems to be doing okay for you, my friend. All right. Well, hey, thank you so very much for being on today. Thank you so very much for doing the EXP Elevate coaching program for us. We're really excited about this. Can't wait to see how many people's lives you change as a result of this program. Thanks, my friend.
Thank you, Bryon.
All right.